Space between these press conferences,
Yes.
the NDC organized a series of demonstrations, the object of which was to...
Petition is loaded. You see, it is double-barreled. Can't you break them?
Organize a number of demonstrations. Is that so?
Yes, we did.
And one of the clear objectives of these demonstrations was that the petitioner had won the election of the will of the people.
My Lord, the objective that relates to the presidential elections was that the results as declared were flawed. And the commission itself had accepted that the results were flawed, and that's why they kept changing the figures.
So you admit that you said that the results were flawed.
Yes.
Who, in your view, won the results? The elections?
My Lord,
Who?
we are not interested in winning or losing a flawed election.
Very well.
We want the election, we want to be winners of an election that is credible.
Now, it is also true that notwithstanding all these statements that your party, yourself, and the petitioner had made, that the petitioner had won the election, when you eventually filed your petition, there was nothing in the petition about the petition having won the election.
My Lord, I have indicated earlier.
No, please answer my question.
Please, I'm about to answer the question, unless you are not ready to listen to the answer.
I've asked you that when you filed the petition,
Yes, my Lord.
yes, there was nothing in it to the effect that the petitioner had won the election.
In the petition, yes.
Now, again, you claimed in one of your statements that elections were won in the polling stations all over the country. So I'm putting it to you that when you made the statement that the petitioner had won the election, it presupposed that you had the polling station pink sheets.
My Lord, I indicated that I never said that the petitioner had won elections.
Now, when the petitioner was telling the whole nation that the NDC had won both the parliamentary and presidential elections, on what basis was he making that statement?
Mr. Gutamba, you can address on it. Yes, you can address on it.
Now, I believe that, as you had admitted during cross-examination on Friday, that you had trained agents at all the various polling stations and constituency collation stations and the regional centers. Is that correct?
That's correct, my Lord.
Yeah. Now, they are all entitled to carbon copies of all the different official election documents of the results.
Yes, my Lord, they are entitled to.
And I presume
But in some cases, they were denied.
you know that you have not stated this important factor in your witness statement. You know that as a fact.
My Lord, I'm answering to you a question that has been asked.
Yes, I'm saying that, and I'm following up, that you know that this important allegation, you have not mentioned it in your witness statement.
Yes, I have not mentioned it in my...
And the petitioner also has not mentioned it in his petition.
My Lord, we indicated that that is what ought to be, but as to whether what ought to be was what happened was another matter. I indicated it clearly in my response.
No, you are answering a different question. I'm saying that if you look into the petition, or you look at the petition, nowhere does the petitioner say what you are alleging.
Yes, but I said it in response to an answer last Friday.
Now, I'm putting it to you that the only evidence of election results that you have attached is your exhibit B, exhibit A is the declaration, exhibit B, the press release, exhibit C, the 11 constituency summary sheets, exhibit D, the summary sheet of Eastern Region, exhibit E, the 275 constituency summary sheets, which you describe as a spreadsheet of the constituency summary sheets released by first respondent on his website.
Yes, my Lord. I indicated that we chose to rely on the first respondent's own figures, thereby judging them by their own Bible.
So it means that you accept the information on those documents of the first respondent.
The information suggests...
No, I've asked you a simple question. You are saying that you accept the information in those documents as the documents of the election.
As per electoral commission, first respondent's account.
Do you accept or do you not accept? That's the question you have been asked.
My Lord, if you can ask the question.
It's the same question.
Ask what?
That you accept the information in the documents that you have attached.
My Lord, I've been advised by my lawyers that that is the information, however flawed it is.
We are not talking about what, don't look there, please. We are not talking, we are not talking about what your lawyers advise you on. We are talking about you.
Yes.
So what do you have to say?
My Lord, because we disagree with the data, that's why we are here.
But you are using the same data in support of your claim.
My Lord, the data must be internally consistent, such that the declaration must be seen to be the product of aggregation of the data. And we are entitled, as a participating party, to look at the data available to us, from which the first respondent drew her conclusion. And we are saying that the data they have submitted does not support the conclusions that have been drawn. And that is why we are here.
Now, you see, you have not, please look at me, please, so that you don't ask me, I should repeat the question again. Look at me. Now, you have not provided any document of your own showing that neither party won the elections.
My Lord,
please, it's a
the documents we are working with, the information we are working with, is the result that has been declared by the...
No, that is okay. I'm saying, as a matter of fact, that you, the General Secretary, who was directing and coordinating the presidential elections, you have not produced a single piece of independent evidence supporting your claim that neither party won the elections. Simple question.
My Lord, I need to understand what independent means so that I can proceed to answer the question. Independent by way of NDC's own collated figures, or what type of independence?
The carbon, you see, as you know, all the documents that the EC was using to, collate the results from the polling station right up to the regional center, you had carbon copies of them, didn't you?
Yes, we do.
And I'm saying that you have not put together your carbon copies to show that indeed nobody won the elections.
Yes, my Lord, because that is not the purpose of our petition.
So you say what is not the purpose?
I'm saying that we did not come to court to come and take over the work of Electoral Commission, but we are entitled, if we see the results are flawed, they are not born out of the data, we are entitled to challenge and to insist that we must have a credible results and a declaration that is based on the votes that were cast at the polling stations.
That's okay. I'm saying that you have not provided any basis of your own for your call for a runoff. That's
no, my Lord, we haven't brought that data here. We didn't consider it necessary to our case to bring any such data here.
You see, do you know why you haven't brought any such document? It is because all the documents you have, all the authentic documents on the election that you have, show that the second respondent had won the election, so you can't bring it out.
That is not so, my Lord, because we produce documents that will support the case we bring to this court. And if the case we have brought to this court is not about coming to retabulate figures the way MPP chose to do in 2013, and we do not need to bring those figures here. We are judging the first respondent by her own Bible.
Okay. So
the figures that she claimed were the figures that were generated and the conclusions that were drawn. We are saying that the conclusions are not born out of the figures she herself has presented.
So, Mr. Sedin Katia, I'm saying that indeed your claim for a rerun between the second respondent and the petitioner is based on the verbal slip made by the chairperson of the first respondent in mentioning the total votes cast rather than the total valid votes cast as a basis of determining the percentages.
My Lord,
do you understand the question?
Please ask if you think I don't understand it. Can you repeat it?
Yes. I'm saying that your claim for the rerun is based on the simple slip, verbal slip, that the chairperson of the first respondent made when he was declaring the results, in using the total votes cast rather than the total valid votes to determine the percentages. Is that not correct?
My Lord, we disagree that it's a verbal slip.
No.
Because a verbal slip in reading out figures would have meant that you read one figure instead of the other. But from subsequent corrections that the first responders sought to bring up, the figure she mentioned and the correction that was made was not related to the figures of the day at all. Because if you have maybe total votes cast in one column and then total valid votes in another column, it is possible that you read total valid votes for total votes cast, but they will be the same thing. So when you come back to allege that it was a verbal slip, we expect that the correction that you made will relate to the figure which you thought you were reading. But the corrections that they claimed were made did not relate, the so-called corrected figures did not relate to any figure that was on the face of the declaration in the first place. So it was a new figure also introduced. So it couldn't have been any verbal slip.
You see, Mr. Nketia, you know, as an experienced player in elections in the Fourth Republic, that you determine who wins the presidential elections based on the total number of valid votes cast. Do you know that?
Yes, I do.
And you know also that it is completely impermissible for anyone to use the total number of votes cast as a basis of determining the percentages. You also know that?
Yes, I do.
Now, you also know that if you listen to your exhibit A, that is the press conference declaring who won the elections. If you tabulate the total of all the votes obtained by the 12 candidates, you will get 13,121,111 votes. Is that not correct?
My Lord,
not correct.
That figure was nowhere in any declaration.
No. Listen to the question. I'm saying, if you tabulate the results obtained by each of the 12 candidates and sum them up, you get a total of 30,121,111. Is that not correct?
My Lord,
is that not correct?
As per the figures released by the Electoral Commission, that is correct.
Okay. Now, you see, therefore, that being the case, you are not permitted to use any other number to calculate the percentages.
My Lord,
No, a simple question.
I was not involved in the calculation leading to the declaration.
Sir, look at here, please.
Yes.
You know, the cross-examination, you don't trade questions with the lawyer who is cross-examining you. He prefaced I remember when he was coming to this, he said, you are a veteran in elections, and you admitted yes.
Yes.
Who in Ghana doesn't know the role you have played?
Yes,
Yes.
my Lord.
That was why he is trying to cross-examine you. Don't try to, go wayward as if you are engaging him.
Yes, my Lord, we are all learning. So, I'm sure if my friend met me in Parliament, it would be a different story.
So, Mr. Nketia, you admit that it is completely wrong for anybody to use the total votes cast as a basis for determining the percentages of the votes obtained by the different candidates.
Yes.
Yes. And anybody who does that, his position cannot be accepted anywhere in Ghana.
Yes, my lord.
You see? But that is precisely what the petitioner does in paragraph 16 of his petition. You can check it and read it out to the court. And then the other 16.
Yeah, paragraph 16.
Read it out.
Consequently, if all votes of the Techiman South constituency were added to the petitioner's case, votes, second respondent's votes will remain the same at 6,730,430, now yielding 49.625%, while the votes of petitioner would increase to 6,342,907, now yielding 46.768%.
And you see that in paragraph 15,
I read paragraph 15.
yes,
The Techiman South constituency has a total registered voter population of 128,018, and if added to the total valid votes announced by Mrs. Jean Adukwe-Mensah as cast, i.e. 13,434,574, the resultant figure would now be 13,562,592.
you see, I'm putting it to you that the figure 13,434,574 does not represent the total valid votes obtained by the 12 candidates if you do the addition from the announcement, the declaration in your Exhibit A. It doesn't. Obtained by the 12 candidates, if you do the addition from the announcement, the declaration in your addition of the votes obtained by each of the candidates as declared that by the chairperson, you do your addition first responding of the votes obtained by each of the candidates is not declared 13 million by the chairperson 434,574. It is not. But the sound you get is not yes 13 million. Like we give you a 434,574. I'm saying that it is not the total value of it. Yes. If you like, we give you a calculator.
First respondent herself as the basis for the declaration of the results before taking into account Techiman South votes. So we are again judging her by her own Bible.
I don't have a problem with that. But therefore, you cannot use what you know is factually incorrect and not permitted by the rules governing our election as the valid vote, total valid votes cast. You can't use that. Even if the EC made that mistake, you can't use that as a basis for your claim.
My Lord, as I sit here, I don't know the total valid votes really cast. All the figures are coming from the first respondent, and that first respondent keep changing those figures.
Mr. Nketia, my question is, please answer my question. Your answer being the case that the 30,034,434,574 is not the total valid votes. That you've admitted that. You can't, I'm putting it to you that you can't use that as a basis, as a denominator for determining the percentages. We'll come to that, Kweku. Why are you behaving like that? Yes. Answer my question.
Go ahead.
Answer my question.
Come again, my Lord.
I'm saying that you have admitted that the 13,434,574, that the chairperson of the EC announced is in fact not the total valid vote cast. And that if you do the tabulation of the actual numbers, votes obtained by each candidate as declared on 9th December, you find out that it is 30,121,111. Yes, I'm just trying to help you understand. Okay, and therefore, it is impermissible for you to use this 30,343,574, even if it was used by the EC chair, to determine the percentages.
My Lord, both figures are coming from the same source.
I didn't have secret source. I'm saying it is impermissible for you to use it as the total valid vote cast.
If the first respondent declares it so, it must be so.
So you see, then if the first respondent declares that the second respondent is the winner, it also must be so.
No, my Lord, because that is why we are here. My Lord, if the first respondent declares that these are the figures, we are entitled to rely on those figures. And when we find out that the figures are internally inconsistent, we challenge her conclusions, and then we come to a forum like this.
You see?
Or otherwise, I have been a banker. When a check is written,
please,
and there are problems with the check,
please,
not one signatory can cancel. You bring it back to where the check was written, and all the signatories will cancel and make the corrections. We have stated that we were not part of any attempt.
Now, you see, I'm putting it to you that you use this erroneous figure as a basis for calling for your rerun. That's what I'm putting to you. I'm saying that you use the erroneous figure of 30,434,574 as the basis for calling for a rerun. That's what you use. Whether it was used by the EC or not, that's what you used. Good. Now, so can you answer?
Yeah, come again.
No, you said, what was your answer?
What was the question, sir?
So I'm saying that you cannot use the manifestly erroneous figure or wrong figure of 13,434,574 as the total valid votes cast to determine the percentages of all the 12 candidates, and in particular, the second respondent and the petitioner. That's obvious.
That we cannot use an erroneous figure. I want to get the question well before I can give you an answer.
This is the third time I'm asking you.
Yes, please do.
You cannot use that wrong figure as the total valid votes cast as a basis for your claim that there should be a rerun between the second respondent and the petitioner.
My Lord, that is not the only basis for the
No, please answer my question. I didn't ask you what other basis. We'll go step by step.
Yes, my Lord.
Good. Now, you admit that in paragraph 2 of your, you admit that the petitioner has been a member of the NDC since its formation in 1992. Since its formation, the NDC's formation in 1992.
I beg your pardon, we are referring to...
Is that not so?
We are referring to the petitioner.
The petitioner.
Okay.
You don't know when...
No, I want to, with the permission of my Lord, refer to the paragraph you are quoting.
No.
You're quoting.
I'm asking you a general question.
Yeah, he's been
But if you think you need to, refresh.
Yeah, he's been a member of the NDC.
And naturally, he was the NDC's presidential candidate.
Yes, my Lord.
Now, indeed, in your paragraph 2 of your witness statement, can you read
Yes.
your paragraph 2
Yes.
to the whole world?
I'm the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, the political party on whose ticket petitioner contested as candidate for the office of president in the presidential elections held on 7th December 2020. I testify in support of the petitioner's case as contained in this petition. Yeah.
Go on. As General
You
Secretary...
said paragraph 2. I've finished reading paragraph 2.
No, I'm putting it to you that as General Secretary of the NDC, you are the coordinator of the general elections, particularly the presidential elections for the NDC.
I'm the coordinator of campaigns for the party,
Yes.
generally. Yeah.
And as coordinator, you coordinate the work of your agents, the agents of the presidential candidates throughout the country, and they report to you in that capacity.
Yes, my Lord.
So, it is correct to say that you had full information on what was going on all over the country during the 2020 presidential elections.
My Lord, if I may find out which information we are relating to.
I say relevant information as to how the election was run.
Yes, by and large, I have information.
And I believe that on that basis, you provided petitioner with all relevant information on developments you consider significant, particularly the presidential results.
Yes, my Lord.
As you received them. Is that not so?
Yes, my Lord.
So, I believe the petitioner has trust in you, and that together with the strategic role you play in coordinating the activities of agents of the petitioner during the elections, he selected you to give evidence in support of his case.
Yes, my Lord.
Now, you remember that when the President of the Republic in July 2018 appointed the current chairperson of First Respondent, your reaction as General Secretary to the appointment was that you were shocked and disappointed because second respondent was a known pro-MPP person. First respondent was a known pro-MPP person.
The first respondent
is the chairperson, sorry, the chairperson of the first respondent is a known MPP person and an anti-NDC person. That was your reaction.
Yes, my Lord, those were my words.
Indeed, when the first respondent announced that they were going to compile a new voters register, your party, the petitioner, and you in particular, you strongly resisted sin, alleging, among other grounds, that first respondent and the president were colluding to compile a new register to rig the elections. That's what you said.
Yes, my Lord, and we had grounds to say so.
And indeed, the NDC, of which you are General Secretary, went to court to stop the compilation of a new voters register.
Yes, my Lord.
And even when the plan for registration was unveiled, you denigrated it, stating that it was calculated to favor the second respondent.
Yes, my Lord, and events subsequently vindicated that position.
You see, I put it to you that you and your party, including the petitioner, viewed the chairperson of the respondents with jaundiced eyes and had a predetermined position on her alleged lack of neutrality.
My Lord, we viewed her accurately and saw the reflection of her in our eyes, and that was the basis on which we made those statements.
You see? So, it is based on this unfounded prejudice that you have against the first chairman or the first responder that you are doing everything to discredit the elections.
My Lord, I have not said anywhere that the prejudices are unfounded. I'm saying that they were founded on solid facts.
Now, you see, I want you to look at Exhibit 4 attached to the first respondent's witness statement. That's what I said.
Respectfully, I think we're back to the same problem. Is it going to be put as an identified document or what? Because
now, I'm suggesting to you for purposes of identification for the time being that this is the official Form 13B, that is the Declaration of Presidential Election Results National Summary Sheet. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Look at the first respondent's witness statement and look for Exhibit 4.
My Lord, respectfully, it is for the counsel to put to him whatever document he wants to put to him. It's not for him to look for a document. I mean, what is this?
First respondent's witness statement is not in evidence. It's not in evidence yet. Yes. Yeah.
My Lord, my first time of seeing this document was where it was filed.
Very well.
We were never even, I never cited it anywhere.
Yes.
I have never signed it. The agents at the strong room don't have their signatures here. And the announcement, the declaration that was made on the 9th did not relate to any of the figures that I'm seeing here.
We'll come to that. You will relax. So you look at the percentage, the total number of valid votes obtained by the second respondent. What is it on this document?
On this document, yes. I can see 13,121,100.
You see, you've also made an error. I said the total
valid votes
obtained by second respondent.
Oh, okay.
You see, you have made a mistake.
Sorry. Yes, everybody is capable of making mistakes, but there are established ways of correcting every mistake in every situation in life.
Please go on. Now read to the court the total number of votes obtained by the second respondent.
This document, yeah, the witness can be made to be reading numbers from a document that is not in evidence.
My Lord, my purpose. Yes. So, very well. Very well. So you will see, Mr. Nketia, that each of the votes attributed to each of the 12 candidates on this document is exactly what the chairperson of the first respondent declared on 9th December. That's the significance. It's the same.
The document is not with me.
But that's the problem. You see, you you.
Mr. Akotampa, you have to be patient.
Very well.
Both of you can speak at the same time, or you lose
My Lord,
us.
I'm well advised. So I'm saying that in your witness statement, you have attached a video clip of the declaration by the chairperson of the first respondent.
Yes.
Do you want it to be played so that you can refresh your memory?
Yes, my Lord.
Very well.
I mean, the videotape is attached to our evidence. At the appropriate time, it can, my Lord, it can be played. But my Lord, we need to understand what is the purpose, because we cannot just go on in this manner. When a document that we have tendered in evidence, they are going to determine when it is going to be played. Is that the procedure of this court?
Because you see, there's a problem with this witness statements which has been introduced. Yes, you see, what we normally do, as you've done in this case, is for you to exchange the prospective exhibits. At least they have a fair knowledge of the exhibits which you intend to tender. Equally so, they also have a fair knowledge of the exhibits which you may tender. So that is why probably you attach it, not to take them by surprise. Yes, and they would want the court to have, the witness who had it annexed to the witness statement to identify it. And I think
Yes.
Mr. Kata, please. Now,
So I think
I think that the issue is that counsel for the second respondent is showing the witness another document, their document, and he's saying that some information on this document that he's showing him is the same as the information that you have exhibited.
Yes, but my Lord, respectfully, that document, he has said he saw for the first time.
Yes, but you can still ask him.
Why is material from that document being used as if it is in evidence? It is not in evidence.
He just wants to show you your own exhibit. If I remember correctly, he wants to show you your own exhibit.
He himself has tendered that exhibit. And so, I mean, if he's going to be asked the question about it, the question can proceed. But he's saying that he wants that exhibit to be played at a certain time. And
No,
I said,
because he said he doesn't remember the
no,
contents.
my lord, he did not say that. He said he was looking for the document. That's what he said.
Okay.
He didn't say he was not.
Okay.
Did not.
Okay. So let him find it, and then we proceed.
My lord, I think that it is preposterous for counsel to say that evidence that he has tendered, I cannot ask the witness to look at that evidence and ask him questions.
Not come to that. We are resolving this matter.
No, but my lord, this objection has no basis. Very well, my lord. My submission.
No, he himself rightly said that it is part of the
And he's saying that they have not played it yet, so we cannot, when they have finished their evidence in chief. My lord, they no, very well.
I think.
Mr. Kotampo, could you kindly remind me which exhibit were you referring to?
They are exhibit A.
Mr. Sedon Ikete's exhibit A.
Yes, my lord.
All right. Thank you.
To have your witness statement. Yes. Yeah, is it not attached to your witness statement? Exhibit A. It's not the petitioner's.
Yes.
Yes.
For Mega Senibia Kessie Supreme Court, a Fimpino, any Eduonu Abacho, a tree, and someone a coso, a one, someone penny for the atoponoso, na wo sinecoso, near Yahu, and ne Dansimia, a free, na watch a tremu, a defia danu, Gina Dakam, Johnson, I said, Dunketiana, Dasso, Egina, Adakamu, ensem ampanimfo abobɔ so de ene video ya ampanimfo nanno no wɔtwe hu ntontonti wo se dwumadie no na ɔde eba wie na nne ye hwɛ se ɔbɛbɔ anase wo mmɔ no abrewa ipuma kwa mu video no na ampanimfo abɔ no ɛho asɛmbisa ɛna ɛtoatoa so no asɛmbisa no de bebree aba enkontabu a NDC amanyoko no mpanimfo yɛyɛ figures any data ye kita won efa fimpinu any aduonu abato no ho a enu nti wotumi gina so kase aba no a yeto ye no enye mampani na nado ena wodi nkunimu ewu mu obi ya ni nkunim se ye mampani dada John Dramani se ye na nado obi ya ni nkunim ewu mu o hanche mu aduonu ne ba akoye wo so obi nya no obi ya ntumi enya wo mu se wutie Johnson ase edunkati anasem a wo ka ne se omo de wo ma ama se court honom no wo be kire se hwan ena di we na di nkunim hwan we dabi wo se abato na course ni omu hu ne se eniema ankoso ye wo mu eti niema ankoso ye wo mu no omu mpemu nkunimdie kora omu ochase omu mpemu nkunimdie eti niema electoral commission for anye ni yie no ena wo fe so oda na die ema Ghana for etumi ehuo eti mpanifo guso ene adansidie niema wode baaye no ewo mu anaho achinyaba de hin na yenyi de hin na enwo se yeyie eno ena mpanifo eguso no eti wo twintontonu a yebehu ne asie na emom asamba ko a ene ase edunkati aka asisu duane se afimpinu ene aduonu abato na yeto ye no wonum no wonkita figures biya nkita data biya achese wode nam se ne yede beji achinnenie omse da bi electoral commission for wo mu ankasa wo figures wode to abonten no ene wo mu gina so na omo de asem na kokoto na wasem bisa ne owo biya waye ne hono eti so be bisa ne se sen momo de ye sen momo de ye sen onkita hwea wode eba hono mo nkonta no anu obu abusua yensa nko ne emra.
I'll now turn my attention to the reason why we are here. At the end of a transparent, fair, orderly, and timely and peaceful presidential election, the total number of valid votes cast was 13,434,574, representing 79% of the total registered voters. Permit me to present the results in the order of appearance on the 2020 presidential ballot. At the end of the polls, Nana Adom of the New Patriotic Party obtained 6,730,413 votes, being 51.595% of the total valid votes cast. John Dramani Mahama of the National Democratic Congress obtained 6,214,889 votes, being 47.366% of the total valid votes cast. Christian Kwabena Andrews of the Ghana Union Movement obtained 105,565 votes, being 0.805% of the total valid votes cast. Ira Kabla Greenstreet of the Convention's People's Party obtained 12,215 votes, being 0.093% of the total valid votes cast. Madam Adom of the Ghana Freedom Party obtained 5,575 votes, being 0.042% of the total valid votes cast. Henry Herbert Lati of the Great Consolidated Popular Party obtained 3,574, being 0.027% of the total valid votes cast. Hassan Ayariga of the All People's Party obtained 7,140, being 0.054% of the total valid votes cast. Percival Kofi Akanu of the Liberal Party of Ghana obtained 7,690 votes, being 0.059% of the total valid votes cast. David Asidi Akesera of the People's National Convention obtained 10,887, being 0.083% of the total valid votes cast. Bridget Acosta Jiboluku of the Progressive People's Party obtained 6,848 votes, being 0.052% of the total valid votes cast. Nana Konedo Ajiman Rollins of the National Democratic Party obtained 6,612 votes, being 0.050% of the total valid votes cast. Alfred Kwame Isiebu Walker, independent candidate, obtained 9,703 votes, being 0.074% of the total valid votes cast. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, currently the election results we have declared exclude that of the Techiman South constituency, which has a total voter population of 128,018. 128,018. The said election results are not ready because they are being contested. As such, collation has not been completed. It is important to note, however, that the difference between the total number of votes between the first and second candidates is 515,524 votes. As a result, if we were to add the 128,018 true results to the results of the second candidate, it will not change the outcome of the election. Hence, our declaration of the 2020 presidential results without that of Techiman South. Indeed, if you were to add the entire results or to collate all the results from the Techiman South constituency and add that to the percentage and the votes of the second candidate, Mr. John Dramani Mahama, he would obtain 47.873% of the total votes cast. And Nana Adom would obtain 50.8% of the total votes cast. It is on that basis that we say that the outcome of the election will not change. Hence our declaration of the 2020 presidential results without that of Techiman South. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on the basis of the foregoing election results, and by the power vested in me as the chairperson of the Electoral Commission of Ghana and the returning officer of the presidential election, it is my duty and honor to declare Nana Adom as president-elect of the Republic of Ghana.
And the election for giving us a working majority in Parliament. One.
So, Mr. Nkatia, you can see that the figures that each of the 12 candidates obtained as announced or declared by the chairperson of the first respondent in her press conference of 9th December are exactly the same as the figures on Exhibit 4.
Lord, I repeat my objection that Exhibit 4 is not in evidence. We cannot be making reference to the content of Exhibit 4.
It is not coming from the witness in the witness box.
No, Exhibit 4 is not coming from the witness.
Okay.
Exhibit 4 is not coming from
okay, I see you.
It's not in evidence, and we cannot have its content just being smuggled in when it is not in evidence.
Yeah.
My Lord.
No, I see your point. I thought it was the exhibit which.
But I thought he identified it earlier on.
But he said he was seeing it for the first time when it was put in the answer of the respondent. He said so. He didn't identify it.
Put up, then lay the proper foundation.
Very well. My lords, in any event, I'm putting it to you that the figures obtained by each of the 12 candidates in what is attached to first respondents' witness statement.
Mr. Kutofa, why don't you limit yourself to what the witness has tendered and which has been shown to us?
All right. So, Mr. Nketia,
What is referring to is,
I'm putting it to do that if you do the maths, which you do so, of the valid votes cast or obtained by each of the 12 candidates, you get a total of 30,121,111. Yes, very well.
About 1 hour ago.
So, can you tell the court what is 6,730,413 as a percentage of 30,121,111? Right. Give him a calculator. Is it on?
He said,
What is the votes, the total valid votes obtained by the second respondent, namely 6,730,413 as a percentage of the total valid votes in the whole election, which is 30,121,111.
That number is still being taken from a document that is not in evidence. That is still what he's doing, and it's not acceptable.
This is exactly
Exhibit A. That's what the chairperson announced. That figure was what the chairperson announced.
We had it, 13,430 something. We had it.
All the numbers of valid votes obtained by the 12 candidates adds up to something. That's 3,000,001.
What she stated, and what she stated was that the total number of valid votes cast is 14,434. That's what you stated. We all heard it.
She stated more than that. She also stated figures for each of the countries. And his question is that if you add that one, you come to a certain and then he's asking
To do the percentage in relation to
no, my lord, if we can go, we can listen again and take down all the numbers that she actually pronounced and make sure, but we cannot use a document that is not in evidence. We can.
He has admitted the figure. The witness has admitted the figure. The total value makers. He has admitted the 13.
My lord, that number is coming from our witness statement. Our witness statement indicates, our witness statement is actually
that we presented in this witness statement.
Yes, that figure.
Yes. The figures of the EC.
Yes, that is right, and that's why I'm saying that if he's answering in terms of what we have put in our witness statement, of course that's correct, but he keeps going back to his exhibit, and that's... No, I don't want, I'm not suggesting that. I mean, I have watched it many times, but if your lordships want to watch it again...
No, the figures, you are disputing the figures. In your exhibit.
My lords, I'm saying that in our own petition, we have given this figure, and indeed, that is a matter that will become very clear in time. But in our own petition, we actually had this figure. So that was what the witness was referring to. That's what the witness was referring to. And that he can be cross-examined in relation to it. It's just that we are not talking about an exhibit, something that is not in evidence.
My lords, with all due respect, I'm hearing some very strange submissions this morning. My lords, if I may be heard. My lords, counsel for petitioner is suggesting that we can only question the witness on things that are in their witness statement or petition. Is that the suggestion?
You're saying that Exhibit 4.
I'm not using Exhibit 4.
So
I'm using what was broadcast a few minutes ago, the numbers.
Exhibit A.
Yes, that's what I'm using. Unless counsel wants to suggest.
It's appreciated. It's appreciated.
No, but my lord, counsel is always interrupting.
It's appreciated. It's appreciated. It's appreciated. Let the witness answer.
I'm saying, Mr. Nketia, that from the video attached to your witness statement as Exhibit A, the total number of valid votes cast in favor of the second respondent is 6,730,413. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'd like to take the question again, yeah.
I'm saying that from the declaration in the video clip that we just saw, which really is the base of all your case, and you should know what is in it. The total number of valid votes that second respondent obtained is 6,730,413. Is that correct?
That's correct, my lord.
Good. Now, the total number of valid votes that the petitioner obtained from the declaration announcing your Exhibit A is 204,889.
That is so, my Lord.
And it goes on to the very end in the announcement. I'm also putting it to you that if you do a sum of all these valid votes,
Ask this question to more than an hour percentage.
Yes.
Once, and that will answer.
So can you tell the court what is 6,730,413 as a percentage of 30,121,111?
My Lord, it's 51.29453 ad infinitum, so it can be rounded up to 51.295.
Very, very good. So 51.295%. Not so.
Yeah.
Now, what about the petitioner? His total valid votes are 214,889. 6,214,889. What is this sum as a percentage of 30,121,111?
My Lord, it's 47.365569 ad infinitum, so it can be rounded up to 47.366.
So you admit that from the chairperson of First Respondents Declaration on 9th December, second respondent crossed the more than 50% threshold.
From the declaration as announced?
From the figures that we just calculated, these figures which were announced, if you do them as a percentage of the actual total valid votes, these are the percentages you get for the petitioner and second respondent. That's what I'm putting to you.
But we've fought.
Mr. December, let me recraft your question. This is what raises the difficulty. The previous question was the second respondent crossed the 50%.
Yes.
In recrafting, you change the second part. So kindly please the question as yourself.
Okay. So I'm saying that from the calculation of the percentages of first petitioner and second respondent clearly crossed the more than 50% threshold.
Well, if the figures are correct, yes.
From your own experience.
Now, again, you see that when you calculated the percentage for the second respondent, you came to a figure of 51.295. Not so. Yes, I'm just emphasizing it for my next question. Now,
yes, my lord.
You notice that when the chair of the EC was orally proclaiming this, she said 51.592, not so. 592, please. That's what she said. That's what she said, not so.
I can't remember what she actually said. I think said 59. I don't know whether
she said.
Can we play that? Can we play it back? Looking back. Okay.
But you use that argument to arrive at your more than 100%. So you know it.
Yes, I wanted to be played back.
Change the outcome of the election. Hence, our declaration of the 2020 presidential results without that of Techiman South. Indeed, if you were to add the entire results or collate all the results from the Techiman South constituency and add that to the percentage and the votes of the second candidate, Mr. John Dramani Mahama, he would, the Liberal Party of Ghana, obtain 7,690 votes. The total number of valid votes cast.
Go back. This is not
434,000.
Okay, please.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the election was conducted in 38,622 polling stations across the country and in 275 constituencies. I'll now turn my attention to the reason why we are here. At the end of a transparent, fair, orderly, and timely and peaceful presidential election, the total number of valid votes cast was 13,434,574, representing 79% of the total registered voters. Permit me to present the results in the order of appearance on the 2020 presidential ballot. At the end of the polls, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo of the New Patriotic Party obtained 6,730,413 votes, being 51.595% of the total valid votes cast. John Drama.
So you can see from the announcement of the percentage that an obvious error was made by the chairperson of the first respondent. Is that not so?
My Lord, your question was for me to admit that the first respondent announced 51%, 592
Yes.
instead of 295. But
it's
my Lord, that is wrong. She actually mentioned 51.595,
yes.
Not 295.
So I'm saying that from the actual calculation of the percentage, which you just did before this court, that was an error. You agree?
Yes, the percentage announced was an error.
Yes. But the correct percentage shows that the second respondent had crossed the 50% plus threshold.
Well, if all the figures are to be believed.
Yes, okay. So now, let's look at the press release of 10th December, which you have attached to your witness statement as your Exhibit B. Now, I'm putting it to you that if you add all the valid votes obtained by the 12 presidential candidates, you get a total figure of 30,119,460. But that excludes Techiman South, of course.
My Lord, I want to redo the...
You do the addition.
13,460. $13,119,460.
So,
Adjourn for about 20 minutes and come back.
very well, Your Lordship.
Yeah. Okay.
All rise.
Discharging.
Abusiame ka say